Emma needs this opportunity more than you do. My father's words hit me like a physical blow as I stood in his office, still holding the quarterly profit reports I'd been excited to share. She's struggling to find her path, and the restaurant is perfect for her. I'm Sophia Chen, 32, and 6 months ago, I'd sold my dream condo to save our family's failing restaurant, Golden Dynasty. The place had been hemorrhaging money for years, stuck in the past with outdated menus, tired decor, and non-existent social media presence. My sister Emma, fresh from her third career change attempt, hadn't shown any interest in the restaurant until now that I'd turned it around. Dad, I sold my home for this. My voice trembled slightly. I put everything I have into saving Golden Dynasty. He waved dismissively, not even looking up from his phone. And we appreciate that, but Emma needs this more. You have your accounting career to fall back on. She has nothing. Nothing except a string of abandoned projects and our parents' unconditional support, I thought bitterly. I left my senior accountant position, liquidated my assets, and poured my heart into modernizing our family legacy, while Emma spent the last 6 months finding herself in Bali. The restaurant had been my grandfather's pride and joy. I grew up watching him cook, learning the secret recipes that made Golden Dynasty famous in the 80s. But after he passed, my parents let it slide, refusing to adapt to changing times. When Dad called me 6 months ago, crying about impending bankruptcy, I didn't hesitate. I remembered that call clearly. Sophia, we're going to lose everything, he'd sobbed. Your grandfather's legacy, gone. I'd stepped in immediately, selling my condo and using my savings to clear their debts. I updated the menu, preserving our traditional dishes while adding modern Asian fusion options. I renovated the dining room, creating an atmosphere that honored our heritage while appealing to younger customers. I even started a social media campaign that brought in food bloggers and local influencers. And it worked. Our revenue had tripled. We had waiting lists every weekend, and our takeout service was thriving. Even our old customers loved the changes, especially the vintage photos of grandfather I'd hung on the walls. But now, standing in Dad's office, none of that seemed to matter. Emma's already started making plans, he continued, finally looking up. She wants to change the menu, maybe add some of those healthy bowl things she learned about in Bali. My stomach clenched. The menu that's bringing in record profits? The one grandfather created. Well, times change, he shrugged. Emma has fresh ideas. She's young, she understands modern trends. I wanted to scream. I'd spent months researching trends, carefully balancing tradition with innovation. Instead, I took a deep breath and placed the profit reports on his desk. And what about my investment? I asked quietly, the money I put in. We'll pay you back eventually, he said, already turning back to his phone. Emma needs a clean slate to make this her own. Just then, Emma bounced into the office, her designer yoga outfit probably costing more than our best day's revenue. Oh good, you told her, she chirped, not even looking at me. Dad, I've been thinking about turning the private dining room into a juice bar. That old school stuff is so dated. The private dining room where grandfather used to host family celebrations, where he taught me my first recipe, where his memorial service was held. Actually, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. There's something you both should know. They looked at me with mild irritation, as if I was already interrupting Emma's grand plans. When I invested in Golden Dynasty, I didn't just hand over money, I continued. I had my lawyer draw up paperwork. Proper investment documents protecting both the business and my contribution. Dad's face darkened. What are you talking about? I'm talking about legal documentation that makes me majority shareholder of Golden Dynasty. I own 51% of the restaurant. Emma's mouth fell open. You can't do that. This is a family business. Exactly, I replied, gathering my things. And I protected our family's legacy the way grandfather would have wanted. I'll be in my office, the one with the business licenses and vendor contracts, all in my name. As I walked out, I heard Emma's shrill voice. Daddy, do something. But there was nothing he could do. I learned from years of watching them favor Emma that the only way to protect myself was to be smart, be prepared, and document everything. I sat in my office, surrounded by the evidence of my hard work. The redesigned menus, the glowing reviews, the photos of happy customers. My phone buzzed with a message from Dad. We need to talk about this. Family doesn't treat family this way. I smiled, thinking of all the ways they dismissed my contributions over the years. Yes, we definitely needed to talk about how family treats family. And this time, I had more than just hurt feelings to back me up. The next morning, I arrived early at Golden Dynasty just as our elderly prep cook, Mr. Liu, was starting his day. He'd worked alongside my grandfather for 20 years and was one of the few people who truly understood what the restaurant meant to me. Trouble with family? He asked in Mandarin, noticing my tired eyes. Before I could answer, Emma burst through the kitchen doors, still in her yoga wear, Dad trailing behind her. "This is ridiculous, Sophia," she announced, waving her phone. "I've already scheduled meetings with interior designers. We're doing a complete rebrand." Mr. Liu quietly disappeared into the walk-in freezer, but not before giving me a knowing look. He'd seen this pattern before. Emma's grand entrances, her dramatic announcements, and the inevitable chaos that followed. "Cancel them," I said simply, checking the day's delivery orders. "Any changes to Golden Dynasty need my approval as majority shareholder." About that, Dad stepped forward, his voice taking on the patronizing tone he usually reserved for difficult customers. "I spoke with our family lawyer last night. He says those documents might not be legally binding since this is a family business." I pulled out my phone, clicking on a saved email. "You mean Uncle Mike, the lawyer who hasn't practiced corporate law in 15 years? The same one who missed 3 tax deadlines for the restaurant?" I turned my screen toward them, showing an email from one of the city's top business law firms. "My lawyer disagrees." Emma's face reddened. "You went behind our backs." To an outsider. "No," I corrected her. "I protected my investment legally and professionally, something you'd understand if you finish any of your business courses." That hit a nerve. Emma had dropped out of business school after 1 semester, declaring it too restrictive for her creative spirit. Our parents had supported her decision, just as they'd supported her failed yoga studio, her abandoned food blog, and her 3-month stint as a lifestyle coach. "Mom always said you were jealous of me," Emma spat, tears forming in her eyes. "Just because I'm not boring and stuck up like you." "Enough," Dad interrupted. "Sophia, your sister is trying to find her purpose. This could be it. Why can't you support her?" I looked around the kitchen, at the new equipment I purchased, the organized prep stations, the updated safety protocols. Everything that had turned our failing restaurant into a profitable business. "Like you supported me?" I asked quietly. "When I worked here every weekend in high school while Emma was at parties. When I learned every recipe from grandfather while she was on shopping sprees. When I sold my home to save this place while she was posting sunset photos from Bali." Dad shifted uncomfortably. "That's different. You've always been capable. Emma needs. Emma needs to grow up." I cut in, surprising myself with my firmness. "And you need to realize that this isn't just about family anymore. This is business." Just then, Mr. Liu emerged from the freezer, carrying our most popular dish's secret ingredient. He paused, looking at Emma. "You know how to make Phoenix clay pot?" he asked in broken English. Emma blinked. "Well, no, but..." "You know vendors. You know health code. You know staff schedule." Each question made Emma shrink a little more. "I can learn," she protested. "I have fresh ideas." "Ideas not enough," Mr. Liu stated firmly. "Need knowledge. Need respect." He turned to me. "Like Miss Sophia. Like her grandfather." Emma burst into tears and ran out, nearly colliding with our morning servers arriving for their shift. Dad gave me a disappointed look before following her. I turned to Mr. Liu, who was calmly beginning his prep work. "Thank you," I said in Mandarin. He nodded. "Your grandfather always said, good food needs proper foundation. Same with business. Same with life." As I watched our staff begin their morning routine, the well-oiled machine I'd helped create, I realized this wasn't just about protecting my investment. It was about protecting my grandfather's legacy, the staff's livelihoods, and yes, even protecting Emma from herself. My phone buzzed with a message from Mom. "We're having a family meeting tonight. Your sister is very upset. Please be reasonable." I thought about all the family meetings over the years, how they always ended with me being reasonable while Emma got her way. But not this time. This time, I had more than just tradition on my side. I had legal documents, profit margins, and most importantly, the confidence to stand my ground. I texted back, "Yes, we need to talk. I'll bring the restaurant's financial reports, legal documents, and my lawyer's contact information. It's time we all understand exactly what's at stake." Looking up at grandfather's photo on the wall, I could almost see him nodding in approval. He taught me that running a restaurant wasn't just about good food. It was about strong foundations, clear boundaries, and most importantly, respect for the work itself. Emma might have our parents' unconditional support, but I had something more valuable. A legitimate claim to my grandfather's legacy, and I wasn't going to let anyone take that away. The family meeting was set in our private dining room, the same one Emma wanted to turn into a juice bar. Mom had arranged chairs around grandfather's favorite round table, where a framed photo of him now stood in the center. I arrived with a portfolio of documents and my laptop, setting up a small presentation I'd prepared. Emma sat sulking in her designer outfit, while our parents exchanged worried glances. Before we start, I said, opening my laptop, I'd like to show you something. I played a video compilation I'd made, customers sharing memories of Golden Dynasty, staff members talking about their jobs, and old clips of grandfather cooking. The final shot was from last week's busy Saturday night, showing our packed dining room full of happy families. This is what I've protected, I said quietly. Not just my investment, but our legacy. Mom dabbed at her eyes. Sophia, we understand you've worked hard, but Emma needs. No, I interrupted firmly. What Emma needs is to hear the truth. All of you do. I pulled out the financial reports, laying them on the table. 6 months ago, Golden Dynasty was $180,000 in debt. The health department had cited us 3 times. We were weeks away from closing. Dad shifted uncomfortably as I continued. I sold my condo for $400,000. I used $180,000 to clear the debts, $150,000 for renovations and equipment, and invested the rest in marketing and staff training. Emma rolled her eyes. We know you spent money, but Daddy says. Your father, I cut in, signed these documents acknowledging my majority ownership. I slid the contracts across the table. He was so desperate for help, he didn't even read them carefully. Dad's face reddened. Now wait a minute. No, you wait, I said, my voice firm but calm. For years, you favored Emma, excused her behavior, and expected me to step aside. But this time, it's not just about family dynamics. This is business. I pulled up our current financial statements. We're now making a profit of $30,000 per month. Our staff retention is 95%. We have partnerships with local suppliers, contracts with corporate clients, and a waiting list for weekend reservations. Mom tried to interject, but I held up my hand. And here's what would happen if Emma took over. I showed them projections based on Emma's proposed changes, the cost of her rebranding, the loss of regular customers, the impact of removing our signature dishes. Within 3 months, we'd be losing money again. Within 6, we'd be back in debt. Emma burst into tears. You're just trying to make me look bad. I have vision. Vision without experience is just fantasy, I replied. Do you know our head chef has children in college? That Mr. Liu supports his elderly parents. That our servers depend on their income. For the first time, Emma looked uncertain. But, I continued, softening my tone, if you're serious about learning the business, really learning it, I'm willing to teach you. The room fell silent. You'd start as a hostess, learn every position, understand how each part of the restaurant works. In time, if you show commitment, you could earn a real role here. A hostess? Emma whispered, horrified. But I'm family. Exactly, I said. And family should set the example. Dad started to protest, but Mom suddenly spoke up. She's right. We all turned to look at her. I've watched Sophia work here since she was 15, Mom continued. She learned from your father, honored his legacy. She glanced at Dad, we haven't been fair to her. Emma slumped in her chair. So I just give up my dreams. No, I said. You work for them, like everyone else. I closed my laptop. The choice is yours. Learn the business properly or find your next adventure elsewhere. But Golden Dynasty stays as it is. The silence stretched until Dad finally spoke. You're a lot like your grandfather, he said quietly. He would be proud. For the first time in years, I saw respect in his eyes. 2 months later, to everyone's surprise, Emma actually took the hostess position. She complained initially, but something changed after she served her first busy weekend. Maybe it was seeing the regular customers greet me by name, or watching the staff work seamlessly together, or realizing that running a restaurant was more than just having fresh ideas. She's still learning, still makes mistakes, but she's trying. Last week, I caught her asking Mr. Liu to teach her how to make dumplings. As for me, I've never been more certain of my path. Golden Dynasty isn't just a restaurant, it's a testament to hard work, proper planning, and the courage to stand your ground. Yesterday, I hung a new photo next to grandfather's, one of me in my chef whites, standing proud in our kitchen. Under it, I placed his favorite saying in both English and Chinese: "Success grows from strong roots." Looking at it, I smile, knowing those roots run deeper than family ties. They're grounded in respect, responsibility, and the understanding that sometimes the best way to honor your family is to stand firm and protect what matters most.